AT&T. I'm partying with Cowboys, baby.
What is up, Tag? It's Tag Nation. You got your boy Mike Tag and Jimmy D. We're here just for a quick little exclusive, if you will. We're breaking it in. I was thinking about this whole Bobby Wagner thing, so just wanted to give my 2 cents. But before we get started, just make sure you guys subscribe, like, set those alerts, because we might be dropping a video at a moment's notice when we feel like letting loose and getting some things off our chest. So make sure you guys do it. And I look like Jimmy's amped up. What do you got going on there, brother?
You know what, last night on the flagship show, we had a little talk about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air cracking MC Gusto in the face. And during that conversation, Mike Tag said, you know what? There's points in time where I wish somebody would just walk up to Stephen Jones and give him a little crack in the face. And after reading some of the news today, I'm beginning to wonder how you really feel.
Well, I'm thinking it might be about that time. I wish I'm in Florida and he's down in Palm Beach. I should have made a trip down I-95 and set the record straight, because I'm telling you, this thing with Bobby Wagner, I just had to get it off my chest. News broke out that Stephen Jones said they did their due diligence, and they come to the realization, they know he's with Quinn and this and that, but he's not in their plans. And looking at what Wagner's asking for, if it's true, he's looking at $11 million a year. I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. The guy has been on a championship team, 6-time All-Pro. He's still playing at a high level. He can bring championship leadership and experience to this team that doesn't have any. And so I always hear Stephen Jones talking about he's in the, they're in the football business 24/7. Let's be in the winning business. Let's see, you see an opportunity to get a guy. How about you pounce on that to improve this team? Now, I understand, Von Miller, that was a 6-year, 120, some crazy number. I get it. But I think what Wagner's asking is maybe you're paying a little bit more, but I'd pay it for that leadership and what he could bring. What's your thoughts?
Leadership. He's 31 years old, so he's not out of his prime, still in his prime, right? Like you said, Von Miller, no way you would have paid that kind of money. I would have signed if we had cap space in Atlanta, I would have signed him in a heartbeat. And like you said, I'm not going to pretend to be a Cowboys fan, because I'm not, right? But obviously, talking on Tag Nation every week, I've learned a lot more about the Cowboys. And like you said, gives Parsons some leeway to move around a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what you're hoping for. And right now you're looking at the linebacker core. You got Parsons, you got LVE, and you got Cox, and J-Ron Curse. He plays at the line of scrimmage sometimes, so I know he's sometimes considered a linebacker. But if you get a guy like Wagner in there who's got the tools, the leadership, the credentials, the street cred, it reminds me back to, I always go back to the 90s because that was the greatest decade, I think, of life. But it also was the greatest decade for the Cowboys, getting them 3 Super Bowl championships. But the people who are too young to remember, that team was young, there was talent, but they were missing something. And then they made that trade for Charles Haley. And Charles Haley brought them 2 rings with him. He brought that championship experience and leadership in the locker room and leadership on the field, accountability, holding these younger guys accountable. And that was the difference. And if you talk to you've seen it in interviews, you've seen it on all the America's games and all this stuff. Charles Haley was the difference to put that team over the top. So I say, what's missing from this team? They've got talent. They're a young team. They're missing that experience, that championship experience. Maybe that's something they get. So you pay a little extra. You could be creative. You can sign them to a 2-3 year deal and kind of finagle with the money a little bit. I'm no expert in the cap, but I grew up in South Florida in the 305, state of Florida education, no college degree, but I can figure this out. I don't know why these geniuses that we got in our organization can't figure this out to make it work, because what he could bring is something I'd like to see in Dallas.
You need to have veteran leadership. We talked about this a few weeks ago. And again, I think it's a steal. Why wouldn't you? Even if you got him for 1 year. And I know we we talked about, kind of getting hogtied a little bit because, 1 year and then you're looking at next year having to sign him again, especially if he has a big year, but you take him. The veteran leadership might be what put you over this season.
Yeah, and it's just it's the MO, and it's like, I was listening to Stephen Jones's interview, outside West Palm Beach at the meetings, and he's talking about, they asked him a question, do you evaluate yourself every year, because their method right now has been sign that second to third wave of free agents. They're not going to pay the big dollars. They're not going to pay the big contract. They want to build through the draft. And I'm a fan of building through the draft. If you look at our last few drafts, we've done very well in the draft. We've added a lot of players, a lot of depth, a lot of talent, some at the later, in the later rounds, which obviously pay dividends. But you got to have that mix. You just can't rely on that. You've got to bring in some guys. And you saw what the Rams did. They brought in Miller. They brought in Odell Beckham. They made some moves last year. They were all in. They said, F the draft picks. We want to win a Super Bowl now. I mean, that was legit. They run around with shirts with it. And I'm not saying you forget about the draft picks, but if you're $18 million in the, head in the cap, they're going to get $10 million after June with, Lyle Collins, if someone correct me if I'm wrong. So they're going to be in that mid-20s, dropping $11 million on Bobby Wagner and to get what he can bring. He's been in Quinn's system. He's been successful. Quinn has been on record saying he was the greatest linebacker he ever coached and one of the greatest players that he's had in his leadership and everything in it. Why wouldn't you want to bring that into this team that clearly there's a problem when it comes to playoffs? There's, I don't want to use the word choke, but I mean, they seem to come up short in the big games. Shake it up a little bit. Bring in some guys that are going to hold him accountable, just like, Matthew. I'd be looking at him, from Kansas City as well.
Yeah. Well, and it gets back to, look, so what the Rams might be off the table for him now is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And who else is it? The Ravens.
The Ravens. It looks like the Ravens and him are talking.
Yeah. And it almost looks like he was waiting on the Cowboys to give him the bucks to sign the paycheck.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's and I'm learning more and more. Being on, working with the Untag Nation and talking about the Cowboys. It is something. There's not 1 week that goes by that there's not some sort of drama or something stupid like today. Today's stupid. And for him to come out and say that before Wagner even signed anywhere was even more stupid.
No, and I don't know if they play these games and see if he can, maybe the Ravens don't end up signing him. Then, we'll get him a low ball deal, or maybe he'll come back or something like that. So, I never say it's over until someone signs. But I think when you start to put that out in the media, I think, it's like you and I talked about with some of the stuff with Mara. I mean, damage is done. You already said you're moving on from him. Now you want him back. So yeah, I don't get it. And, to do one better, they're talking about their draft and what they need to get. And they're, these guys, I mean, I love the Cowboys. You can see it. But Jesus, man, these Joneses got to shut their mouths and just let the coaches and let the scouts and let the people do their job. You just sit back, count the money, do your marketing stuff, because that's what they're great at. I mean, they're marketing geniuses. I'll give them that. But just relax, man. It's like, shut your mouth. Let everything play out.
I think you need Paulie to take care of business at some point with the bat like it's Thanksgiving.
You're gonna break your mouth out. So, but no, I just wanted to get on and just put my feelings on about Bobby Wagner. And just one thing that happened, just to get your quick take on it, is I saw that the NFL passed the playoff, so they get the overtime. So they're gonna, the regular season stays the same, but in the overtime it's 2 possessions. Each team is guaranteed to get the ball 1 time, no matter what. What's your instant reaction? What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, so it's silly. The NHL during the regular season, when it goes to overtime, they go from 5-on-5 to 3-on-3, and then in the playoffs it's a straight 5-on-5 OT. Why do you change the rules in the playoffs? Right? To me, if you play like that all season, you keep playing like that throughout the playoffs. So I think it's stupid.
Yeah. I don't know why, I don't agree. I think either you change it for everything or you leave it alone.
Right.
But, I know they're worried about player safety. That's why we have a game on Monday, Thursday, sometimes Saturday, Sundays, and everything in between. But why don't they just put a time limit on overtime? It's 10 minutes. 10 minutes,
Right.
whatever happens, happens. If you go, if it's not, it's a tie. If you go into the playoffs, it's 10 minutes, and then it's sudden death after that, or something, something of that nature to just keep it fair. But they're going to say, well, player safety, we don't want them playing too long. But again, they add a 17th game to the schedule. They added more playoff teams to create more revenue, which is more games and more. It's all about the money. So, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. I just think you either leave it alone or just change it the whole season.
Yeah, typical of the NFL, they're hiding behind player safety. But comes to the 17th game and making that dough, it all goes out the window.
Yeah. So anyway, we just wanted to jump on for a quick 10 minutes, just let a little bit of anger out with this Bobby Wagner thing and just kind of say our piece. So if you did miss the show last night, make sure you guys check it out. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys do all that good stuff. We've got some more things planned. But as you know, if something drops, whether it be Cowboys, I'm going to be on. But if something else, we may be jumping on and dropping our opinion. So you guys have a great evening. Make sure you guys subscribe, share, check us out on Twitter. You follow both of us. Also our Facebook page, Tag Nation. You can check that out to stay up to date on everything. Peace out, and we will see you next Monday.